Hey, it's Dre. Let's talk about septum piercing anatomy today. This one is a little bit tricky because I've seen piercers put septums in a whole lot of places, but I do feel very strongly that I have the correct answer. So let's get started. You yourself today are gonna be the diagram. We're gonna do some feeling around and I'm gonna explain to you exactly what you're feeling. Let's start with the lowest part of this septum column. I don't know what to call it exactly, but you get me. The bottom part here, the very base. You feel it, it's soft, it's flexible, but it is thick and chunky and kind of muscular. That is not where we're piercing through. If you pierce through this little piece here, you're gonna have a very good chance of the piercing rejecting. I have found that people who get their septum pierced through this lower, more muscular area, even if it does heal, they find that whenever they move their face, for example, like pursing their lips or wiggling their nose like this, every time they do that, the ring starts to flip because it's in a muscular area and that muscle is gonna move. The next part we're gonna feel, we're gonna take our pinkies and we're gonna go straight up, high into our nose. You still got some flexibility, but it's a lot tougher, it's a lot stronger. That's your septum cartilage. You don't want to pierce through that. You can pierce through it. It hurts a lot more than the traditional septum though. When you look at a nasoline piercing, they're usually piercing through that septum cartilage there, which is what makes it such a tough piercing to do. So right in between these two parts that I've just explained to you, if you take your fingers and you just find the little gap in between, it's thin, it's webby, it's not very structured besides those two stronger structures holding it in place. That is where the traditional septum is pierced through. You'll notice that it is very thin and wobbly, and that's kind of what makes it such a difficult piercing to do. A lot of piercers really don't like doing septums, me included, because it's so thin and it is so flexible that it's very easy to do crooked. Even if you've got the right place, having it straight and look good on your client is really the tricky part once you actually know where the septum is. When a piercer is looking for the correct anatomy to do a septum piercing, what they're looking for is enough of that little webby space in between these two structures for jewelry to comfortably fit through and for them to find it with a needle. Some people have a lot of this webby space, some people have a little, and some people have like almost nothing there. When you have nothing there, sometimes a piercer will offer to pierce through your cartilage and just let you know like it's gonna hurt more and it's gonna take a lot longer to heal. I personally am not a fan of that because you're piercing cartilage with like this curved barbell. I don't know, I'm a little iffy on it, but some people do feel like it is a possible alternative. I wouldn't be the person to speak on that. It's not my favorite thing to do. Now we're gonna complicate this anatomy thing just a little bit more. For most people, anatomically, they have more of that little webby septum space towards the tip of their nose than they do closer to their face. Also, aesthetically, a lot of jewelry is better fitted and better designed to look good towards the tip of the nose than towards the base of the face. Now, you can pierce a septum closer to the face. I find it to be a little more uncomfortable. You're less likely to have enough space, like enough of that webby space back there. But again, every client is different. Whatever works for you, boo. I also feel like when I see people show me pictures of septums that they like and like what they want, what they're showing me is towards the tip of their nose, tucked up high enough that the ring fits correctly. It depends on the ring. Like this is a very nuanced subject, but when we're talking generally, it's up and towards the tip of the nose is where you want your septum piercing. So here's where it gets a little bit controversial. I just think it's really important to talk about it. When I see a septum pierced incorrectly, more times than not, it is on flatter noses, which is more common in Black and Asian communities. I think that this is because when we're practicing, you usually have like these little silicone models that we use at start, and they're more traditionally Eurocentric features, these models. So you've got like longer, thinner noses. It's kind of easy to see that the septum goes up and to the front. With these flatter noses, usually the nostril doesn't come all the way to the tip of the nose either. So you have to alter exactly where the septum piercing goes to make sure that it's not all the way in the tip of the nose, but pushed back by the opening of the nostril. I know that's a little complicated, but like, hold on for me. When I see these flatter noses with mispierced septums, they're usually done super low and super to the face. Probably because whoever pierced it doesn't have experience with that kind of anatomy. And I would really like to see more silicone models with flat nose anatomy because we need the practice. We need more experience there. And if you are someone who has a flatter nose, definitely look up your piercer before getting your septum pierced. You probably shouldn't just go to any random, especially if you're in a predominantly white community. I think that covers everything. If everything goes well with your septum piercing, it should heal within 3 to 6 months. Best of luck, baddies. See you in the next one, and let me know in my comments if I missed anything. Bye!